Greetings, beautiful beings. My name is Wednesday Stardust Adams, and you're here in the Cosmic Kitchen with me. Welcome. I'm so excited to have you. Thanks for teleporting in. Today, I'm making a beautiful, beautiful lamb dish. Imagine coffee, garlic powder, white pepper, all the beautiful things. You have to stay tuned to see what we're gonna do though. We're also doing a mushroom leek and tarragon pasta, very creamy and beautiful, and a beautiful lemon butter broccolini. So stay tuned, stay with me, and let's get cooking. I'm excited. Okay, so what we're gonna do is we're gonna start with our herb roasted lamb. I'm gonna roast, well, I have the peppercorns on. These are rainbow peppercorns, which are really beautiful. I'm roasting them, the rainbow peppercorns, to get them like nice and smoky. It gives like a much deeper flavor for me when we roast the peppercorns. So I'm waiting for these to get roasty. And you know when they're roasting because you smell the smokiness, and you'll literally see like smoke coming up, and sometimes they'll pop. And then that's when you know they're ready. And we're gonna throw them in the mortar and pestle and grind that all up. So I'm gonna use this pepper for every single dish that we're using. We have our peppercorns nice and smoky. As you can see, the steam is coming off of them and they smell delicious. It smells like super nutty. Gives you a nice nutty flavor. So I'm just gonna dump these into our mortar and pestle. Boop, boop, boop. And I'm gonna crush. Just crush them. And they're much easier to crush like this. When they're roasted, they're a lot more crispy for some reason. And it smells so good. It's like a smoky, really, really nutty flavor, and it comes through in the dish. You'll be able to taste the difference, definitely. I love regular black peppercorn, but it really, really makes the dish the star when you roast the peppercorns. So we've got that taken care of. Next, we're gonna season our lamb. So I have some really beautiful lamb loin chop pieces here. Really, really pretty. So I'm just taking a little bit of the pepper that's super ground and putting it into the mortar and pestle, and not taking it out of the mortar and pestle. And we're gonna put that on top of the lamb. Some pieces are larger. I like some of my pieces to be chunkier. It depends on you. If you don't want to, some people don't want to bite into a big peppercorn, but I don't mind it. I don't mind the heat. So I'm gonna go in with the pepper. And I also have some white pepper, which I love. And all white pepper is just black pepper deshelled. That's all it is. So we're going in with some white pepper as well to keep it light and pretty. And I'm also going to use some thyme. So I like to strip my thyme fresh. And there's like a little trick that I learned with thyme to like get the aromatics out, the oils. You literally like clap it in your hands, and like you can smell the aromas coming out, so you know like they're doing their things, doing all the things that they need to do. Okay, so we're stripping our thyme, and I'm gonna put a few in whole, a few thyme stalks in just whole, also with the lamb when we roast it. I like to do that. I like my dishes kind of rustic, so there's ground up things, and then there's like pieces of things to chew and like to experience. There's a lot of layers. Okay, so we'll put that there. Perfect. So I'm gonna use a little bit of olive oil now, and I'm just gonna drizzle that over the lamb. Boop, boop, boop. And then we're gonna start and get our pan hot. That's what we should do for the lamb. I'm gonna get some butter, a little bit of butter, and I'm gonna put a little bit of olive oil in as well. That's how we're gonna sear our lamb. We're gonna sear it in the cast iron, and then we're gonna move it over to the broiler to finish off, and then we'll start our pasta. So here we are. We have our pan super, super hot right now. I'm gonna go in with a tab of butter. So let's get a little tab, about this amount. This amount is good. A tab of butter, and then I'm gonna do a dash of olive oil too. Because butter burns very easily, the olive oil helps to keep everything on an even keel. Okay, so we got our pan nice and hot. Let's get that melted. And what I like to do is I'm gonna crush a piece of garlic and put it into the pan with some thyme in the butter while it heats up. Some thyme in. And I feel like we want a little more heat. Are we getting there? Okay, here we are. And we also, we want to make sure that our pan is screaming hot, because what happens is if it's not screaming hot, when you put the lamb in, what it's going to do is it's going to steam instead of giving it a beautiful crust that we want. So we're going for like a really, really pretty crust, and then we're going to throw it in the broiler. While we're at it, let me turn on the broiler. We're going to take our time here and then give it about 6 minutes in there and let it rest. Okay, so now that we have our pan nice and hot, let's put our lamb in. And also give it a little toss. Give it a little toss. Make sure that everything is like evenly distributed, your seasonings and things like that. Some people like to go in with their hands. I'm gonna use the tongs because I just like that. I just like to, just toss well. All right, so when you put it on, it should you should hear a beautiful sizzle. Let's see what we get. Yes. So this is exactly what we want to hear. Beautiful. And we're just gonna lay them in the pan and don't move them. Even if you're tempted to move them right away, don't move them. Let them sit. So we're gonna go maybe like 4 minutes on this side, 4 minutes on the other side, and then we're gonna put it in. I like my lamb well done, so if you like yours medium well, or however, you can cook it accordingly. Beautiful. I'm gonna take some butter, a little more butter, and then I'm gonna baste it too, because I kind of treat lamb like steak. It's in the same family, flavor-wise and texture-wise. It's really beautiful. And you can smell the coffee and the garlic and the thyme and the butter, all the things. They just meld beautifully. Let's see where we are. Okay, so I'm actually gonna let that go for a few more seconds. Okay, so I'm actually gonna take this cast iron on back to the flame, because an open flame, there's nothing like an open flame in a cast iron skillet. So let's bring this back here so we can get that going. I'm gonna turn this up a little higher, and then we're gonna let it go for maybe 2 more minutes on the open flame, flip it, and put it in like we discussed. In the meantime, I'm gonna grab our lasagna noodles for our pasta. And we're gonna bring this over here. And we've got a beautiful rolling boil, pretty much a rolling boil. You really don't need a lot of time on this pasta because it's the easy pre-bake or something, like no bake, that's what it is, no bake lasagna. So I'm just gonna put some sheets in. I'll do about 6 sheets, this is good. 6 sheets in, and you hear the lamb sizzling. So let's go over here. We want to make sure that we get that brown crust. Like I said, I feel like my intuition tells me that we might be there. So let's see. Yes! Okay, this is beautiful. So we do have, if you can see, that pretty brown crust on there. We just want to sear it. We're going to sear both sides and lock the moisture in, and then putting it in to finish. So you don't have to worry about the middle not being done. You just want to get that really beautiful golden brown on the outside. Yes, girl. There we are. Oops. Okay, beautiful. So I'm gonna let that go for about 4 minutes, and we're gonna go over here and start putting together the sauce for our mushroom, leek, and tarragon pasta. All right, now we have our lamb that's pretty much ready to go into the broiler, so we're gonna pop it into the broiler now. Here we are. And so we only need to give this maybe, I want to say like 8 or 9 minutes. I don't necessarily have a timer, but I use my intuition. My spirit tells me when to open the oven, and you have to work on that too. We can work on it together. So I'm putting some olive oil in the water because the lasagna sheets can stick together. I got these from my local grocery store. You can go get the no bake flat lasagna sheets, and they're really, really easy to make. So I put them in, I have some oil in here, and I'm going to try to gingerly get them into our strainer without breaking them. We're gonna bring this over to the sink and let's strain. Straining. If they're stuck together, it's okay. So we're gonna leave these here and let's get our sauce in, and then we're gonna pop the pasta into the sauce. Okay guys, so what we're doing now is we're working on our mushroom, tarragon, and leek pasta in a cream sauce. It's really, really rich, really beautiful. If you're on a diet, take a day off because you need to experience this. Okay, so what we're gonna do first is we're gonna take our leek. I wanted to show you guys how leeks are like a little tricky because they can be dirty on the inside. So I just wanted to show you guys how to make sure that you're cleaning and getting the best out of your leek. So I'm just cutting both sides. I'm gonna take it over to this, well actually, no I'm not. I'm going to cut down, and then I'm gonna cut down again. Hopefully you can see that. And what happens is, once you open up the leek, you can see there's a bunch of dirt and stuff like that. So you never wanna just cut a leek, cut the end and cut the top and cut it crossways, because you're gonna get a lot of dirt and grime in there. So we're gonna go over and wash that off. Okay. And then once you get it all washed out, we're gonna cut it just straight across in these little, nice little quarters. I'll show you in a sec. We have our clean leek. This is our garbage bowl. If you're wondering where I've got my knives from, my cosmic knives, because that's where I'm from the cosmos, actually. They came from Chef's Vision. Amazing, amazing chef's knives. So shout out to Chef's Vision for those knives. So here we go. We have our leek over here. I'm just gonna move it over. We have a leek chopped up. I'm gonna chop up some garlic. I love garlic. You can use however many cloves you'd like to use. I'm 2, 4, 6, 7, chopping up about 7 of them. We're gonna get these chopped up. And like for some reason, people like to use garlic peelers. This is my method that there. So I kind of like smash it and then pull like the tip off of the top, and usually it works well. Let's try another. There we are. It's like de-shelling. Oh, wrong one, wrong side. I'm a lefty, y'all, so sometimes I get turned around. And you know what? I'm gonna use this amount. We don't even need all these because I feel like it's taking forever. All right, so I'm gonna chop up the garlic. So our pan is nice and warm. Just literally a rough chop is all you have to do. It doesn't have to be super minced. I like to taste chunks of my garlic in the pasta. It gives it a nice layer. So we're gonna put a little bit of butter into the pan. Again, it's one of my things. Butter, and then we're gonna do some olive oil. And since the pan is screaming hot, we wanna just get the leeks and garlic. Well, actually, let's do the garlic. Garlic in first. Let's flavor the oil. Got the garlic in. And see, that pan was really hot. So if you see that the butter is starting to brown, you can take it off and then get your leeks in before we go and do the mushrooms. Then I'm gonna put the pan back on and let the garlic and the leeks kind of sweat a little bit. Let's turn this down. I'm gonna turn my pan down to maybe medium heat and let that do its thing. Awesome, so now we're gonna go in with our beautiful baby Bella mushrooms. I'm gonna chop some of those up and we're gonna put them in the pan. I'm gonna cut about 4 for this. If you see that the leeks and the garlic is getting a little steamy. We want it to be kind of crispy when we put it in there. So you don't want it to get too sweaty. So you might want to turn the heat up so that we can get a nice crisp on those leeks and garlic while we're going in. Okay, so now I'm gonna go in with the mushrooms. Just plop them in. Great, and we're gonna let those cook and let them saute. So beautiful, guys. I wish you were here. I wish you were. But hopefully you're gonna put this together and let me know how it comes out. Okay, so we're just sauteing down. We're gonna keep sauteing the mushrooms down, and we're gonna check on our lamb at the same time. Let's see how we're looking. This lamb looks so beautiful. It's beautiful. This is exactly what we want to see. It's like the crust. So I think we're gonna take it out and let it rest. Let it sit there. Beautiful. Satisfying. Okay, so we're looking good over here on the mushrooms. We really want to get the moisture out of the mushrooms because when they cook down, they shrink in size. So we don't want to start our sauce yet, adding the liquids until we get these sweated down a bit more. But while we're at it, we are going to be using cream and chicken stock to go in. That's going in next. The cream and chicken stock, it doesn't matter which order you go in. Let's see what we're looking like. All right, so we're gonna go in with some chicken stock now. I'm gonna pour some chicken stock in, and I have a cup in here, but I kind of like eyeball it, so we'll see what it looks like. Am I gonna use a whole cup? No, I'm not. So, a quarter of a cup is left. There we go. And we're gonna let that come up to a little, not a boil, but a simmer. And then we're gonna go in with the cream and the Parmesan cheese and the tarragon and the lasagna noodles and all the beautiful things. And that's gonna be our dish. So we're on the way. I'm excited. It smells amazing. You could even add some white wine if you wanted to. That would be a beautiful little ding. I don't have any on hand, but it would be a nice addition, I'm sure. So now that we're here simmering nicely, we're gonna go in with our cream. What is this? I think this is like half a cup of cream. Beautiful. And then we're gonna add the Parmesan cheese at the same time, and it's gonna act as like kind of a thickener. So I kind of just shake it in, like shake it like Stardust in there. There we go. And then we're gonna give it a mix. I'm actually gonna turn it down now. We don't want it to boil. We just want it to get nice and thick. So we're gonna let that do its thing for a few moments. Okay, so I noticed that my sauce isn't as thick as I like it to be. The Parmesan is the thickener, so I'm gonna add just another little dash or 3, 1, 2, 3 of the Parmesan. And what I do is now I'm gonna let it simmer a little bit, almost to a boil. And then we're gonna turn it right back down once we have it dissolved, like so. So I'm going from an 8 to about a 4. And here's where I go in with my salt and my pepper. You can season to taste. I love using white pepper in any white pasta sauce just because it's pretty, and I love the aesthetics and the beauty of dishes. So I'm gonna go in with some white pepper. Literally just sprinkle that. And I'm gonna go in with some salt, just regular sea salt. Sea salt is actually the best type of salt for the body. We have 182 trace minerals that we need, and I feel like sea salt gives us about 92 of those 182. Let's add our tarragon. The tarragon adds such like a beautiful, fragrant, like aroma, and it's just delicious. It goes beautifully with leeks and garlic. Tarragon is like their best friend, a cousin or something. So I put some tarragon in there now. There we are. And as you know, our lamb is over here resting, so that's ready to go. And what we're gonna do is we're gonna get our lasagna noodles and just lightly toss them into the pasta sauce and let them marry. I'm excited. Don't worry if they get stuck together because mine have a bit. I'm just gonna use my hands to kind of do my best to not rip them. If they rip, you know, it is what it is. It's still a beautiful dish. Just be as ginger as you possibly can. And I might not even use all of these noodles because the noodles actually drink up some of the sauce. And yeah, let's do that. Let's do it up here. All right, so what we do is we're gonna just kind of fold our sauce into our pasta noodles and kind of like let them marry. It looks so pretty. It looks so pretty. I love it. And the leeks and the tarragon have this like, well, it's more so that the tarragon has this kind of like semi-lemongrassy scent. It's really, really aromatic and beautiful. So I mean, we're really ready to go when it comes to the pasta. Like this is it. This is it right here. So next we can move on to our black broccolini. Lemon garlic butter broccolini, and that's going to be our veg for the course. So we have the beautiful pasta, we have the lamb, and we have our broccolini. So you have all of the beautiful food groups that you need in one plate in one sitting. So let's move on to that. Okay, so what we're doing is a lemon garlic butter broccolini right now. And we're gonna start with a warm pan. I have the pan on now. We're gonna get a little butter and go in. We're using, I love butter, but you guys can use a vegan butter, whatever you like if you don't, or coconut oil or any other type of oil. My favorite is a nice rich whole fat butter. Okay, so we have a tab of butter in there, and I have some lemon infused olive oil, and I actually grated some lemon zest in there too to just give it a nice little pretty kick. So I'm gonna go in with some of that. And you can coat the bottom of the pan because we're gonna kind of fry up the broccolini, and then we're gonna reduce the heat so that its own steam kind of softens it up in the middle. It's really, really nice. Okay, so let's cut up our garlic. Let's let our oil get nice and warm before we put the garlic in, so we can infuse the oil with the garlic and get that beautiful flavor. I'm gonna turn it up a little bit. And when you see the oil start to move at the bottom of the pan, it starts to like travel, like time travel, like in the bottom, you know that it's ready to go. So we're gonna throw this in now. It's like expanding and spreading. That is really like scientific and cosmic. Let's see. We're not screaming, but we don't need it to be screaming. We're just gonna simmer it and saute it in. You just wanna move it around, give the oil a chance to infuse. I'm gonna turn this up a little higher. Oh, it smells so good and lemony. And so what's gonna happen is the broccolini is gonna start, as it begins to cook, it's gonna create steam, and that's when we're gonna turn it down and let it get nice and soft. But really, we're gonna go in with a little bit of salt, a little bit of the black pepper, and literally just let it go. Like there's really nothing else that you have to do besides just let it, and you can move it around if you like. I just took a tong and tossed the broccolini in its own and the infused oil with the garlic. And now some people like their broccolini a little more on the crunchy side. Some people like it on the softer side. So you kind of have to gauge and figure out, you know, if you want to take, you could literally take it out now and it would be just as delicious and flavorful, nice and crunchy. I like mine a little softer, so I'm gonna let them go for a little longer. And if you can see here, like this is getting a little softer. You can kind of wobble it and see that it's kind of softening up. The other ones will be a bit more at the top. You can tell if it's crunchier by if it shakes like a tree at the top. Now we're ready to plate. I'm excited. Let's do it. Let's grab our lamb. Looks really, really beautiful. Look at that. What you look. That's the color that we want. That really, really beautiful. Look at that. It's toasty. It's roasty and delicious. Oh, you know what? And I love the crunchy herbs. Like, I don't know if you've ever had like some crunchy herbs. You put roasted chicken or something and like chew the crunchy herbs, but it's delicious. The thyme. I put it right on my plate with everything else and consume. We're plating our beautiful broccolini that look like the trees and the leaves. And all we're gonna do is just take our tongs as gingerly as we can and place them on our plate. So you can just put it on and then go ahead and get the mushrooms and all the extra goodness that's left in the pan. Okay, so we have our pasta plated, our beautiful mushroom, tarragon, and leek pasta. And don't worry about the presentation. It's gonna be absolutely delicious. Sometimes the noodles come out a little softer and you're able to pick them up with some tongs and lay them nicely on the plate. And sometimes they just plop out regardless of what the flavor is, what's important, and it's all there. So we have that garnished. I'm gonna do a little bit of lemon zest on my broccolini, just a tiny bit. Nothing major. And I love edible flowers. I love the beauty of food. That's why I'm on planet Earth, is to eat beautiful food and create it. So let's throw some edible flowers. And you can really eat these. You can really eat them, and they're nice and peppery too. Like they're beautiful on salad and things like that. But for today, we'll add them on the side. I actually get these edible flowers from Whole Foods, right in the herb section where all the herbs are hanging up. They normally have beautiful varieties, depending on where you live. They're normally always in season. It's winter time and we had some. They had some for me. So yeah, this is, here we go. This is our herb crusted lamb, our lemon butter broccolini with garlic, and our mushroom, tarragon, and leek pasta. Bon appetit, now you may eat. Thank you so much for being here with me. I had a great time putting this together. So we have our herb roasted lamb chops with the beautiful edible flowers on the side for garnish. We have our lemon butter broccolini, and we also have a beautiful, beautiful rich tarragon mushroom and leek pasta that we put together. I'm excited, I'm ready to eat. I'm ready to eat. I hope you feel the same way. Until next time, I'm Wednesday Stardust Adams. Your atoms matter, so feed them well. Yum, yum, yum.